Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we're going to be unboxing the Hieronymus Bosch Tarot by Travis McHenry. Now, a little backstory about why this deck is in my collection is I showed you the United States of Tarot recently, and I told you, as I said, that's a gift from my husband for my birthday, and that was the deck that I was really wanting. So I knew about it, sort of, like he kind of surprised me with it, but I was like, this is what I want. And when I unwrapped it, as I was like looking at it and everything, he said, now there was another deck that I was saying about getting you, but I was afraid it was too creepy and weird for you. And he told me the name of it, which is right here. He actually spelled it out for me because I'm terrible at pronunciation, but this one just kind of flowed. I can't say it now. Hieronymus Bosch. And so when he told me about it and I kind of looked at the illustrations online, I fell in love with it instantly because I am a huge fan of weird, strange, and like historic art and stuff like that. And that's what this is. It's a very famous Dutch painter from about, I'm probably not remembering the exact date, but it was like 1600s-ish, 1500s, 1600s, that area. And it's of the scene that he created, the painting that was like 3 different panels of it, called the Garden of Earthly Delights. And you can see that back here on the back of the box, and it says there are a few artists whose work has sustained the power to shock, amaze, and delight audiences for over 500 years, but anyone who views the Garden of Earthly Delights will surely experience all 3 emotions at once. Although Hieronymus Bosch has a reputation of being a brilliant madman, in his time he was regarded as a master of art. His unique dream killer style led him to be crowned the first surrealist in a period when the artistic consensus was one of realism. Renowned occultist and best-selling author Travis McHenry has painstakingly isolated scenes and characters from Bosch's works to capture the philosophy of traditional tarot cards. The result is a deck that is beautiful, inspirational, and unlike anything you've ever seen before. That little thing there about unlike anything you've ever seen before, this is why I'm a tarot card collector and why I love this stuff so much, because people's hearts and souls, the artists that create this, like, you can really see the passion that was put into it. And the fact that this is like from a 500-year-old painting that's still on view today, if I remember that correctly, because I did research this the other day, somewhere in Spain, then it's definitely an awesome deck that like will stand the test of time. And so I'm really excited to share it with you. As you can tell, it's still in the plastic that it came in. You know, you see that little stream right there and that right there. Yeah, so I haven't even opened it yet. I haven't looked at the cards yet, so you'll be doing that at the same time as me. And as always, if you like what you see, I'll leave the link in the description below of where you can purchase it from. I personally purchased this from magic.com. That's magic with a K at the end, magick.com, and I highly recommend ordering from them. They are an awesome company. They're one of the little guys, more so than like say Amazon and something like that. And what I really think is cool about them is with every single order that you purchase, they send you a free crystal with it. They don't tell you anything about the crystal, but if you're like an avid crystal collector like me, you really want to like just collect as many as you can, even if you don't know exactly what they are. So that's a little cool feature of it. And almost always they have a 20% off coupon going on, so get this deck for like 20% off that what you usually get. So it's definitely an awesome place to order from, and like I said, I'll leave that link in the description below. Now torn a little hole up here in the plastic, so we can easily just rip it off. And I'm actually, since I already have the nice little hole in it, it'll be easier to do, and I'll actually do it on camera. And we'll take that and we'll set it over here and get into the deck. Now this deck, definitely awesome. Of all my decks, I do not have one that opens like this, so this is really cool. And it kind of is reminiscent of the painting itself, because that's how it is. It's like 3 panels, and there you can see on the inside with the guidebook on the top, and over here in the middle and on the side, it's the entire painting. You can see that. Here's like God creating Adam and Eve, you know, letting them meet for the first time. There's the earthly garden of pleasures and people doing things that make them happy. And then I assume like this darkness over here is kind of reminiscent of hell. So like what happens when you do the wrong things in life. And then you lift this up, which is nice because then you can easily get things out. And there's the guidebook. You can see it's very detailed, very colorful and illustrated. A lot of times the guidebooks, they're like black and white and stuff. I think that's why they call them the little white books. So this one is definitely more detailed than that, so that's really cool. And it tells you all the different cards in the deck. Now I don't believe this is a deck for beginners, because I think some of the cards are like different than like the main names and stuff. But you know, if it calls to you and you want to learn it, I recommend it. Like if a deck really speaks to you, that's why you get it. My first deck, which I'll share that in an upcoming video, was the Healing Light Tarot, and that's not a deck, like definitely not a deck for beginners, but that is the deck that I began with. So it's whatever calls to you, whatever you enjoy to see and you want to work with, that's the deck for you. And you don't have to like wait for someone to gift you a deck or anything like that. Feel free to buy your own deck, you know, whatever calls to you. You know you better than anybody else knows you. So whatever you want to purchase, like whatever you want to be your first purchase deck, buy it for yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody else to do it. While I'm at it, I might as well tell you, you don't need to have like satin or silk or something to wrap your decks in. What I prefer are bandanas. You can get them at like Hobby Lobby and stores like that for 99 cents, upwards $2 and stuff like that. Way cheaper, way more variety, and like it works just as well as silk. We're not really here to talk about like mists and stuff like that. I may do that in a video as well, but we'll see. We're going to see this awesome deck and see the different illustrations together and see if you like it as well. Now we can see here the sides. I don't know if that really picks up. It seems to. It's that really pretty metallic blue. So that's a cool feature. And we have the Fool we begin with, and it says the Wayfarer. And there down at the bottom it has like a key sentence, you know, kind of like give you information about it. And it's the path ahead, adventure, and choices. So those are the key words. And then the Conjurer, which is the Magician. The Mistress of Terror is the High Priestess. So that one, definitely creepy, definitely cool to me. Because like the darkness within can sometimes be downright terrifying. But when we really start trusting ourselves and our intuition, it's not as scary. Then there's the Virgin Mother as the Empress. The Kings of the East as the Emperor. The Surgeon would be the Hierophant. The Lovers remains the lovers, and it shows like the original lovers of all time. You know, Adam and Eve, when God created Eve from Adam's rib, because Lilith was, at least my beliefs, Lilith came first, but she said, I'm not being subservient to a man, so that was the end of Lilith being in the Garden of Eden. Deception is the Chariot for 7. Ignorance would be Strength or Justice. I get really confused there because they can be interchangeable in the deck. So whether this is Strength or Justice, we might learn with the card 11, which is the one it's interchangeable with. But it says Conflict, Adversity, and Stupidity. So that kind of maybe relates to Strength, because, you know, you have to be a little bit confident in yourself to be a little bit stupid sometimes. Then we have 9. The Hermit is Illumination. The Table of Plenty replaces the Wheel of Fortune. The Flower Pusher is 11. Now this is Force, Justice, and Strength, so that's really interesting. And the Flower Pusher, very interesting illustration there. Kind of reminds me of the card from the Thoth Tarot, where it's the, I believe it's called Lust. So the illustration kind of reminds me of that. Then we have the Hanged Man as the Barrel Boy. Death very much looks like Death himself. Paradise would be the Devil, and it does look very tempting, and that's the thing about the Devil. That's the addictions and the vices that it represents do seem to make life more enjoyable, but they also keep us prisoners. We have Temptation next. I assume that is Temperance. So it says XU, which is a little, actually that's not a U, that's a V, so yeah. 16, the Tower, would be the River to Hell. The Dreamer, which is the Star. The Grail Knight, which would be the Moon. Christ Child is the Sun. Ascent of the Blessed, that would be Judgment. And of course the World replaces the World. Now we have the suits, and like I said, they're not like cups, swords, wands, and pentacles. This is Page of Berries. And it says helpful, giving, sharing a friend. So it starts with the Page of Berries. I'm going to assume this is the cup suit. Maybe as we go through it, we might know for sure. If we started with the guidebook first, we would know. But this is more of an unboxing video to see what the cards look like. So we definitely had the Page of Berries first. And then the Knight of Berries. The Baron of Berries. So the Queen of Berries. And the Princess of Berries. And also the Queen of Berries and the King of Berries. So this is a little extra deck, and you're seeing it the first time. I am too, so It's definitely different. I do not have a deck like this, and again, this is why I collect them, because there's always something different and interesting about them. The Ace of Berries. The Page of Birds. Birds makes me think swords, so that might be the energy of it, it might not. The Knight of Birds. The Baron of Birds. The Prince of Birds. The Queen of Birds. And the King of Birds. And of course the Ace of Birds. And we have the Suit of Skates, which skates might be swords too. I'm not really looking down here at the meanings, but it says disappointment, failed attempts, and struggle. The Knight of Skates. Baron of Skates. Indecision, too many options, and balanced pleasure would be the Prince of Skates. The Queen of Skates. The King of Skates. And the Ace of Skates. And then we have the Page of Swords. It's funny, I keep calling these the Suit of Swords, and yet here we have the actual Suit of Swords. So the Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Baron of Swords, the Prince of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and then we have Vessels. Vessels, most likely cups. The Page of Vessels, the Knight, the Baron, 2 cards there, the Prince of Vessels, the Queen of Vessels. I like that she has a dice balanced on her head. That's really cool. King of Vessels, the Ace of Vessels, and then the Suit of Books, which is the Page of Books, the Knight of Books, the Baron of Books, the Prince of Books, the Queen of Books, the King of Books, the Ace of Books, and then the Suit of Coins, which we can only assume is the Suit of Pentacles, the Page, the Knight of Coins, the Baron of Coins, the Prince of Coins, the Queen of Coins, the King of Coins, the Ace of Coins, the Sin of Wrath, the Sin of Lust, the Sin of Sloth, the Sin of Envy, the Sin of Gluttony, the Sin of Greed, and the Sin of Pride. So there we actually have 7 different cards, which I'll grab these really fast. We have the 7 different deadly sins. So that definitely is really interesting. You can show a lot of work and a lot of heart went in this deck. And like it says on the back of the box, it's unlike anything we've ever seen before. So we have all the different illustrations there, and it's actually based very much on the painting itself. So I'll put this back here very quickly, and you can see all of those illustrations we went through are pieces of this entire giant picture. So if you're a fan of Hieronymus Bosch's work, this is definitely a deck to add to your collection. It's absolutely gorgeous. They do have the keywords on there, which makes it a little bit easier to like read with. But the more you look at the illustrations, that's the beauty of tarot, is like trusting your intuitive gifts. Like trusting that you know what the cards mean just by looking at the illustration. Like this card to me, the Queen of Birds, dull outlook, ancestry, austery, pity, and knowledge. The way that the owl is sitting on top of the character's head and looks like buried down in the ground tells me it's like it's a very grounded, very focused soul, like very connected to the earth and comfortable and grounded, and also wise, because owls always remind me of being wise. We didn't look at the back of the illustrations or back of the cards in the illustrations, so there's that. And it's the center of the actual like painting, so it has that whole garden of earthly pleasures like down the center of the back. So it's one of those decks, like it doesn't matter which way you turn it, it's the same way either way. So that's really cool. And I showed you the back of, or the sides of the cards, which makes it extra special too. So that is a look at the Hieronymus Bosch deck. Looked at the guidebook and everything. The cards are really great stock, like hardly bends. You know how I shuffle things if you've watched videos in the past. So I'll never like bend the cards. We have the book right here, so it can definitely teach you a lot. And if you like what you see in this video, like I said, I'll leave a description in the link below, or a link in the description below of where you can purchase this deck for yourself. If you'd like to have a personal reading with this deck, then feel free to comment on this video. Send me a message on either of my socials, where I share daily readings every single day of the week. That's all 7 days. We have different readings, different cards, different decks share their messages every day. So if that's something you want, inspirational messages every day, then feel free to give me a follow. I'd really appreciate it on Instagram or Facebook. And then of course, you know, here too, I'd like to share deck reviews and like looking at decks and stuff like that, so you can find all of those here. I will be going through all my decks and like sharing each ones that I have had in the past that aren't necessarily new, but all should still be available, most of them at least, that you can purchase for yourself if you like them. But as always, I very much want to thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.